Hey there, welcome. My name is Jessica Buchanan, and I'm a New York Times bestselling author, professional speaker, and founder of Soul Speak Press, a non traditional publishing company created for women who've been through something, now they know something, and they can teach us something. In Her Words is a podcast designed to support aspiring memoir authors on their writing and publishing journey. It's hard work, this writing and publishing stuff, and I want to empower you with encouragement and information so you can keep sharing your truth. So grab your coffee, your notebook, find a quiet space, and let's dive in. Well, hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of In Her Words. I am so excited that you don't have to listen to me just talking to you for this particular episode. I have a very special guest, one of our Soul Speak Press authors, Jackie Pflug, joining me here to share about her entire memoir writing experience or whatever we can talk about in the next half an hour. Let me give you a really brief intro, Jackie, if you'll just, bear with me here for a minute. And I'm just going to read this off of the back of her book, Wake Up. It's time to say yes to creating a life worth loving, which is the book that Soul Speak Press published. Jackie is the best-selling author of Miles to Go Before I Sleep, which came out originally in 1996. It traces her journey of being shot in the head and left to die on the tarmac during the 1985 hijacking of EgyptAir Flight 648. Courageously telling her story and the lessons learned launched a successful 25-year career as an international motivational speaker. Her writing, like her personality, radiates warmth and authenticity. I couldn't agree more. Jackie, thank you so much for joining me here for a few minutes on In Her Words.
You're welcome. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, I would say the majority of the women who come to me who are interested in sharing their story through a memoir manifesto, right? You've been through something, now you know something,
Yep.
you want to teach us something. Um, One of the main reasons they want to do that is because they want to speak. And I'm curious how like 25-year career as a motivational speaker is incredible. I'm like 11 years in, I guess, into my motivational speaking career. How do you keep that going?
Well, actually, I retired from it after 25 years. It was
Okay.
taking a toll on, I just felt like it was time to stop the traveling because I mean, you probably can relate to this. I was in almost three states a week, talking about the story and
Yeah.
lessons learned. It was so fun, but then I got a message. I felt like my inner voice was speaking,
Mhm.
okay, you've done this. It's time to let go and try to and look for something different.
Okay.
Um, and I kept on though. I kept speaking for another year or two, even though I heard the message because I really liked it.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was invigorating. I
Hmm.
got to meet people that I wouldn't have normally been able to meet,
Hmm.
stay in hotel rooms that I loved, sleeping in certain kind of beds, and it
Hmm.
was kind of the fun life. But I was telling this hard story, and I think it
Yeah.
was starting to take a toll on me after so many years of that.
Yeah. I
And
get that.
so I finally decided to let go, and I talk about letting go of that career in the book, Wake Up.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us then. Okay. So, like, is that what happened next? Like, you retired from speaking and sharing the story about, and then you decided to move on to writing another book.
Well, before that, so I did move on to writing another book, but before that, I got lost. I decided to use some of that time. My son was still in middle school. I wanted to use some of that time to meet him at the bus stop and hang out more time with him. And also, I decided to commit to visiting my dad in Houston for 5 days, once a month in Houston. So I'd fly from Minneapolis to Houston once a month. He had Alzheimer's, and
Mhm.
before it was starting to take its toll on him, I wanted to spend some time with him. So I did that once a month for many, many, many years. And then I started to feel like I had another book in me, and
Mhm.
I didn't know what it was, but I felt that for probably about 3 years before I actually came up with the idea.
Okay.
And I was in at my chiropractor's office one afternoon getting an adjustment. And I remember standing in the doorway after the adjustment and talking to the chiropractor and just talking about stories. And he was telling his story, and I was telling my story. And the story I told was a time that I was spending 3 months in the summer with a girlfriend of mine, Barb Wilson, in Rio New Mexico, and some of the funny stories. And as I was telling him, there's this light that came on in my head like, oh my gosh, you're going to tell all these stories that you have that you've lived from when you were young to present time. And I believe I was at 69 at that
Mhm.
time, and I'm 70 now. But so I thought, okay, I'm going to tell all these stories. So I started to write these stories. And it felt like it was so fun to write the stories, but it felt like there was something coming up that I needed to go into the story, and I didn't know what it was.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
and so at that time, after I retired, went to see my dad. I continued to raise my son, and somewhere along the way, I got lost. And
So what do you mean by that?
I didn't know it either. Somehow I stopped doing fun things for myself. I felt like the joy was sort of out of me. I didn't laugh as often.
Mm.
It felt like, even though if you looked at me, I looked happy, that there was something going on with me that was asking me to ask myself some questions um, that I didn't want to ask. And some questions. I was in a marriage that had been going on for a long time. And already I was in the 29th year. And I just felt like it was time to start asking myself questions that were important to the rest of my life and being happy.
Mm.
But I didn't know I was lost until I started to write this book. And then
Oh,
I
wow.
realized, oh my gosh, uh, I need to start looking at my life. And so I went to a retreat center in Tucson, which I talk about, and I started to ask these questions to myself and started to find the answers. And the book, as you write a book, as you well know, and many of the authors that are with you that chose this avenue, wonderful avenue with you, um, know that sometimes when you write a book, you think it's one thing,
Oh,
but
yeah.
then it becomes another, a totally
Absolutely.
another thing, or
Hmm.
this thing that wants to get into the book and won't let you be until you've added into the book. Do
Hmm.
you know what I mean?
Totally. Absolutely. I mean, it's relentless, first of all, right? Yeah. And then secondly, it sounds to me like you wrote a roadmap back to yourself. Oftentimes we think we're writing a roadmap for somebody else, but it's for us first and foremost.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
That is so true for me.
Yeah.
It was a roadmap for me.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Yeah, thanks for saying that.
Absolutely. So give us an example of a couple of the questions that you were asking yourself in this retreat center in Tucson. My sister has spent many years living in Tucson, so I can only imagine what this retreat center was like.
Um, why am I not fully happy? Why am
Mm.
I giving permission to people to throwing me under the bus?
Ooh.
Why am I saying yes to things that pull me down when I really want to say no?
Uh,
So it's just a lot of things that, like, why am I not waking up? Why am I living on autopilot? Because that's another thing I discovered. I was living on autopilot. And the original title was looking at going from autopilot to waking up to a life worth loving.
hmm.
And I took that off. But that is something that I was doing, is living on autopilot.
Hmm.
And through tedious work with counselors or people that
Hmm.
I worked with,
Hmm.
I started to wake up to my life and
Hmm.
what I wanted the rest of my life to look like
Wow.
moving
So, I
forward.
mean, you really had to be ready for those answers, huh?
Yes, yes. And why am I letting why am I allowing people to be critical of me? So that's
Mm,
another question.
mm,
But I had to start looking at some things in my life that weren't working, and it's not easy.
no,
But
it's
I
not.
heard once someone say, "What's good for one person is good for the next,"
Mm,
and so that helped me in this journey of um, finding out who I was.
yeah, because it has a ripple effect, right? If we know
Correct.
ourselves, right, then and we write it all down. I mean, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily the exact roadmap, if you will, for the next person, but um it could very well help them. It could give them some tools. It could invite
Right.
them into another way of looking at things and reframing things. And so I
Yeah.
just think it's really brave and it's really generous. I always think it's just so generous because I watch how hard y'all work. I know how hard it is to write a book. It is, you're right. It's tedious not only to go in and to ask yourself those questions, but also then to articulate it and put it down into black and white and this beautiful pop of
Yeah.
orange. Tell us a little bit about the writing process. And
Sure.
you came to us, and you had already worked with your own developmental editor, which I'm steadily coming to know and adore, Corinne. So tell us a little bit about that and how
Yeah.
what that has been like and why you decided to work with someone like that.
Yes. So I had written this manuscript. And also to piggyback on something that you just said, um, if you want joy in your life, which I did, um, I need to make sure that I um, watched, I, I had to let go of things that were blocking it. So anything that I wanted joy or happiness, I had to reframe and look at my life and what's blocking it and
Yeah.
let go of those things.
Yeah.
But back to this question that you just asked. Yeah, I started writing and I showed my manuscript to a friend of mine, and I said, "Is this even a book? I don't even know if this is even a book." Because the transformation that I went through that we were talking about earlier didn't get put into the book just yet. And
Okay.
he said, "This is the book. This is just my stories." And he said, "Keep writing." So I kept writing, and I started to come up with these pages and pages of information that I wanted to be in the book.
Hmm.
And then I felt like I was ready to find an editor to help me put the puzzle pieces together because I didn't know how to put my stories and weave them in
Yeah.
to to a book because it was like everything was all in different
Yes.
pieces.
Yes.
So I knew that I had worked with a couple of editors on my first book,
Hmm.
Miles to Go, and I reached out to them, and one of them said she's too busy. Another one, and but said you should look into Corrine Casanova. And
Hmm.
so I looked into Corrine, and we started to work together. She's very, very good.
Hmm.
I think my book came alive because of her,
Yeah.
because she started to weave things for me that I knew
Yeah.
I couldn't do on my own.
Right.
So
Yeah.
then we she had worked with someone that had written a book that you published,
Hmm.
Soul Speak Press published, and she suggested I send my manuscript to you, and then I met you. That was a fun day. I met
It was.
you,
You're
and
always so
and
joyful. I love it.
and I love what you've done. I thought, oh my gosh, there's a woman out there that's doing all this.
Mhm.
What a great role model you are. And so you looked at the book and said, "Yeah, we'll publish this." And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's on my way.
Woohoo! So, what has the publishing process? I mean, publishing has changed a lot in terms of when you first wrote Miles to Go and published that, and now with Wake Up. So, what are some of those main differences that you noticed?
Well, yeah, the first book, my Miles to Go, was published with a traditional publisher,
Mhm.
and what I noticed with you, I got to keep my rights
Yep.
to the book, which I love,
Right.
and I got to make all the decisions, and
Hmm.
I couldn't do that with the first book.
Yeah.
I like the decisions that they made, and we talked about it, but the
Right.
final decision wasn't mine.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and so working with your company, Soul Speak Press, I got you're very clear about that, that I get to decide how this book is going to be going.
Right.
So I mean, down to the working on what it's going to look like on the cover, to the title,
Hmm.
which, the first book I wasn't able to do that way.
Same.
So this is this title, and we worked with this title. You and I were
Yes.
back and forth, um, and I couldn't figure out what big words were going to be in the front.
Right.
We kept going with creating a life worth loving, and then this was like in December, Jess, of
Uh-huh.
2024,
Uh-huh.
and you were saying, "Just give it time. You're going to get it. You're going to get it." And I was driving in the
Yeah.
car in December, going back to my chiropractor, the one I talked about at the beginning,
Must be a
going
really
to work.
special chiropractor.
And I love Christmas music, and I was listening to Christmas music, and there was a song and I never heard it before, and it was called. I'm sure it's called "Wake Up" because there weren't hardly any lyrics to it. And I was listening to it. It's go, "Wake up, it's Christmas. Wake up, it's Christmas. Christmas, Christmas. It's wake up, wake up." I thought, God, this does not have any lyrics to it. So after I stopped complaining about the song and what is it about? I thought, wake up, wake up.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, wake up. Because we had already worked with
Yep.
it's time to create a life worth loving. So
Yep.
I said to you, I quickly got home and emailed you. I said, what do you think about wake up? It's time to say yes to creating a life worth loving. And you said, I
I love
love
it.
it.
Yeah.
It's perfect. You
Yeah.
did it. That's
Yeah.
what you said.
Yep. I
Yeah.
knew you could do it. I knew you would. Sometimes it just takes us a little while, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like wake up because it reminds me that I needed to
Hmm.
wake up to who I was, wake up
Hmm.
to what I want,
Hmm.
wake up to how I see my life looking.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I mean, if anything, we need more and more reminders of that it's possible. And we need examples and models of that. And you've done that so much through this work. And so we're very proud to have published it. And so you also have another project in the works with us. You want to tell us what it's about?
Yes. So that's another thing. Uh, this is another thing about you, Jess, that's really cool, is I
Oh,
called you
tell
and
me.
said, hey, since I talk a lot about journaling and wake up, what do you think about me developing a journal to go with wake up?
Hmm. And
And
I
you said,
said, let me see if we can do that. I don't know how to do that.
uh, you said, we've never done that before, but
Uh-uh.
let me look.
Yeah.
And you didn't say, we've never done that before. No, you said,
Yeah.
never done that before. Let me check this out.
Well, you were the second author, actually, repeat author that had come to me like in a week. And the first one I did say, ugh, I don't, it's going to be cost prohibitive and I just don't think we can do it. And so then when you came to me, I was like, okay, clearly this is something that people want. I'm no dummy here. And let me figure out if we can do this. So I got in touch with Merrick and I said, because they really specialize in curriculum development. That's like what they do, which is why we're an imprint, because they don't do memoir stuff. And so I was like, hey, I don't know if this is, if this is possible. And she was like, yep, sure. We had one snafu about the spiral bound, but we were working through that.
Go through that.
But it
Yeah.
was a miscommunication that I did get very upset about. But anyway, yeah, so I mean, it turns out it's actually not that hard, and
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
working. We've been doing the same process, going back and forth, working with Ilsa, our head of publishing here, to make sure all of the content is exactly the way it needs to be, and then it's about ready to go in for layout. So how does that feel? I mean, this is your third,
Oh,
essentially your
yeah.
third book.
Yeah. It feels really good. So when I asked you, I thought I was also asking myself, do you really want to do this? Because you've been at working on this wake
Hmm.
up book for 8 years,
Right.
7, 8 years. And I was ready for a break
Hmm.
when Wake Up came out. I
And
was
let's
ready
not
for a
forget
vacation.
that you also recorded the audiobook in
I
between all of that
did.
too, you
I
know?
did. Oh my gosh, that was so fun.
Yeah.
Yes, that was so fun.
And then I
Yeah, so I
think
have
you
an
like went to
audiobook.
Fiji and Bali and all these other places in the middle of them too.
That's right. Yeah, that's true. I forget about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought, oh my gosh, can I even do this? Here I asked, and she got permission, uh, and so I started working with Corinne. I thought I got to work with Corinne, and so we started working on it, and we worked on it in June. So Wake Up came out on May 28th,
Hmm.
and I took 2 weeks off, and we started working on it in
Yeah.
June, July, August, and September. We sent everything to you, and
Yep. Yep.
now
And we're
we're
hoping to have it done by Christmas time. So that's our goal. So
yeah. So I've got a journal out
we're working hard.
that's
Yeah.
called Wake Up, Creating a Life Worth Loving, a 52-week journal.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to mention I forgot about the audiobook. I was in the studio working on getting it into audio form
Yep.
with
And that is out
Amazon. So
too. And that's
yeah,
ready and available. So what has been the most surprising part of this process for you?
surprising. How easy it's been a little bit. How
Okay.
easy it's been to get it published with you.
Okay.
Uh, and I mean, you have some really great people working with you.
I
The
do.
people that have been on my path have been you and Lauren Buchanan and
Hmm.
Elsa Manning,
Hmm.
which is Elsa's like the best
She's the best.
with editing,
Yeah.
and she's just so fast. And
I know. And
anyway, so
good.
I think that's probably the fun part and good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I did say, can Elsa work on the journal? But also, she
Hmm.
also worked on
Hmm.
my book, and you
Yep.
said yes. And
Of course. Yeah. Of
I
course.
thought, I wonder if there's going to be have to be begging involved in this to get Elsa, and you just go
No.
yes.
Yep. Yep. No, she's our ride or die. So we give her as much as we can. So what's been the hardest thing about this whole process?
Uh, it's just hard to write a book.
It's hard to write a book.
Um,
It's really
has
hard,
nothing
isn't
to
it?
do with publishing. It's a lot of work. It's not
Yeah.
for the weak-hearted. I tell you,
No.
it's a lot of work because you got to do a lot of soul searching and um, really what you want people to know
Hmm.
about your story.
Yeah.
So it's it's not and it will always be hard to write a book. There's nothing going to be easy about that at all.
No.
So there wasn't any hard thing working with you or the publishing
Hmm.
company. Nothing at all.
Yeah.
I'd do it in a heartbeat again. It's
Yeah.
been quite fun.
Yeah. Do you think you have another book in you?
I actually do.
Oh.
I do. I don't know what. So for years I didn't know that Wake Up was going to come out. I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't know what I was going to write about.
Mm-mm.
But I
Mm-mm.
feel like there's another one, and I feel like it might be buried inside that I need to uh
Do some
wait
more.
for it to
Yeah.
come to me.
Tell me
But you
a
may
little
get a
bit
call from
more,
me.
like tell me a little bit more about that process for you. Like, I think it's such an interesting, and I think I'm a lot that way too. Like, I think I've learned instead of forcing things and like banging my head against a wall to conjure something up, like I wait for it to come. And so what does that feel like or look like or what is that process like for you?
It's I think it's just simple as that. And also, uh, well, for me, it's I never really thought of myself as a writer. I always
Yeah.
saw myself as a speaker, a
Yeah.
teacher, a
Yeah.
school psychologist, all things that I went to school for.
Right.
And I didn't go to school for writing. And
Hmm.
so I have been on this journey of accepting the fact that I am a writer and being proud of it, and then just open to any ideas and paying attention along the way to being present and seeing if there are any clues that I might be missing along the
Hmm.
way.
Mhm.
So I don't know what my next book is, but you'll be getting a call from me one day. I'm thinking
Well, you
maybe years
always
from
have a
now.
home here at Soul
Yeah,
Speak. We adore you. I just think it's so interesting too because I guess like circling back around, we have similar backgrounds. We were both
we do.
teachers in the international school space, and then we both were victims of violent crimes internationally.
No,
And so I think that that's really like what bonded us and connected us when we first met
I
because,
know.
I don't know about you, but I don't meet a whole lot of people who have that kind of story. And so I know one of the conversations we've had a couple of times is like, it does get grueling to continue to tell that story. And when
Right.
you're ready to like switch gears and you want to tell a new story, which is like right what I'm in the middle of trying to do. And it's just like I try really hard to be grateful that people want to hear the story at all and that I have the opportunity to share my teaching points and that I can continue to teach in this way. But sometimes it does really take a toll on you. And
It
I
does,
feel that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so when the time I felt that feeling 25 years later that it's time to let go.
Yeah.
Um, and I have let go. It didn't at first, I because
Hmm.
I liked it so much, but
Right.
it's fun. It's nice to see that people are getting it and remembering a part of history
Yeah.
that they may not even have ever heard about before.
Right.
That
Right.
was nice
Yeah.
to keep that alive.
Yeah.
And it was nice to feel like you're making a difference in the world
Yeah.
and giving people um, an inside look into um, what they may not have ever been able to see before.
But don't you think that that's exactly what you're doing with Wake Up?
I am. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah.
why we share our stories and what you've done so beautifully here. So if somebody's listening to this and they'd like to connect with you, and hear more about your writing experience or just connect with you because they want to take you out for lunch, how can they reach you? How can they connect with you?
Well, they can go to my website and I can be reached there.
Hmm.
Jackie at JackiePflug.com is my email. And also, they can follow me on Jackie Pflug Author on Facebook
Hmm.
and Instagram,
Yep.
JackiePflug.author, I think.
Yep. Yep. I think so. You've been killing it
Yeah.
on the social media front, by the way. So bravo to you.
You know, I did not know anything about social media. I wasn't on social media before this book came out.
And that's
And
a huge thing, right?
you said you got to get on social media. I said, really?
Yes,
Really?
I know.
You
I'm
said
sorry.
yes. And you gave me someone
Yep.
to reach out to, Natalie Hancock, and
Yep.
that was fun.
Yep. She's amazing.
And then also got a great website
Yeah. I love it.
with Genevieve. Yeah, that
Oh,
was really
yes.
fun.
She's awesome. She's so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Teamwork definitely makes the dream work, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and it's fun to see the social media, my book come alive through social
Yeah.
media.
Yeah. And I
Uh,
mean, the thing that I love the most too is just seeing all your cool travels. Like you are one adventurous lady.
yeah, I
So
do
I
travel
I love
a lot
that.
lately.
Yeah, it's very much
Yeah.
my heart too and how I like to operate in this world. So Jackie, thank you so much for just your generosity of heart and your time here and for putting this book out. And I'm just really grateful that the universe put us together so we could help
Oh,
each
I'm
other
so
on this
happy.
path.
Yeah, I'm so happy that our paths crossed. I feel very honored to have met you, and thank you again for bringing Wake Up to life for me. Thank
Oh,
you.
it's our pleasure. In Her Words is hosted by me, Jessica Buchanan, and is produced by Soul Speak Press, a non traditional publishing house for women who are ready to tell their story. If you would like to know more about our submission process, I encourage you to check us out at www.soulspeakpress.com or follow us over on Instagram at soulspeakpress. We appreciate all your questions, and if you would like to leave us a review, we would be so grateful.